Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so for this video we're gonna have to keep the intro very short. We got a lot of context to cover, a lot of content to get through, a lot of interactions. There is some more bombshell evidence suggesting Hunter Biden and of course Joe Biden being directly involved in criminal bribery schemes and influence peddling schemes while Joe Biden was still in office. And we've been waiting for one thing on all of these scandals, all of these major bombshell revelations. We have been waiting for the mainstream media, the mainstream press to do their frickin' jobs. Every time I lead with these stories, I always say the same thing. Well, here's another bombshell, biggest story of my generation, huge corruption scandal that the media is simply ignoring, pretends doesn't exist. Here's what the media isn't telling you, and for once, finally, it seems as though this is the straw that's breaking the camel's back, and these mainstream media puppets are finally forced to ask the important questions. The White House is in total panic, squirming, shivering, as they are getting bombarded from all sides on this Biden family criminal scheme scandal. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so like usual, of course, let's first start off with the context. We have a brand new document that's blowing the lid on this whole thing. Take a look right over here. We obtained a July 30th, 2017 WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden to Henry Zhao, where Hunter Biden wrote, quote, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this, other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father." All right, we've had a lot of smoking guns. This is the smoking gun of all smoking guns. Here is Hunter Biden acting like a damn criminal, a mobster, demanding payment from this Chinese oligarch. We already know who Henry Zhao is. This is in relation to Hunter Biden traveling with Joe Biden when he was vice president on their China trip when he traveled with his father on the American taxpayer dime to China, where they made a deal with a giant Chinese energy firm that supposedly magically netted them millions of dollars. Joe Biden has stated unequivocally, in fact he's now provably lied on multiple occasions, that he had no involvement and no knowing of his son Hunter Biden's business dealings. Here he is, presented as not only being involved, but being present in the room during phone calls and text messages with Henry Zhao, clearly being involved in these corrupt, criminal, influence-selling business dealings. In fact, Hunter Biden is using his father Joe Biden as the frickin' cudgel. I'm paraphrasing here. He's essentially saying, don't mess with us. We have the ability to hold a grudge against you and make your life difficult, and that power stems from the man next to me, my father. That is crazy. That is insane. Could you imagine if that was a leaked text message of Donald Trump Jr. strong-arming foreign nationals to send them money to do as they say because, hey, I got the president of the United States, Donald Trump, sitting next to me. This would be the biggest story. It would lead to an impeachment, indictment, investigation. But here we go, we have the Bidens, and nothing seems to be happening. Well, at least finally questions are being asked. And White House spokespeople Karine Jean-Pierre and Mr. John Kirby scrambling, pathetically trying to slide their way out of this one, refusing to answer questions on this exact issue. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre.
And secondly, the president invited his son Hunter to the state dinner last night. I'm wondering if you could take us into the thinking and the decision-making of why the president decided to invite
I'm just not going to get into family discussion, personal family discussion. As you know, Hunter is his son. I'm just not going to get into it.
Let me ask you this. If Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors 2 days earlier?
A couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend events at the White House. You could look at past presidents. I'm sure you have. So that is not uncommon. As it relates to anything related to Hunter, I'm just not going to respond to it from here.
Can I follow up on that?
No, I just called in somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Kirby wouldn't answer James's question, though. Are you going to answer the question? I mean, not a reasonable question to ask whether the President of the United States was involved, as this message seems to suggest, in some sort of a coercive conversation for business dealings by his son? Is that something, if he wasn't, then maybe you should tell us?
So here's the thing, and I appreciate the question. I believe my colleague at the White House Counsel has answered this question already, has dealt with this, has made it very clear. I just don't have anything to share outside of what my colleagues have shared, and so I would refer you to him and the DOJ. Just not going to comment from here.
Text message.
What I can tell you is I know that my colleague has dealt with this. He addressed this at the White House Counsel. I just don't have anything else to share.
In the shakedown
I just answered the question. I just answered the question.
No, you didn't. Yes or no? Was the president involved in the shakedown attempt?
Stephen, I just answered the question. It's not up to you how I answer the question. I just answered the question by telling you my colleagues at the White House Counsel has dealt with this, and I would refer you to them. Go ahead.
Can you just remind us what your colleague said from the White House Counsel so we have it?
I would refer you to them, and they will share their statement with all of you.
My question is about your statements from that podium. You've stated that the president stands by his comment from the 2020 campaign that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with his son. And you stood at that podium and you reaffirmed that. Do you stand by your reaffirmation?
What I will say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I will leave it there. Anything else, I will refer you to the White House Counsel.
This is not a change?
I just answered the question. You just asked me, does my statement change? I just told you nothing has changed. That's answering the question. Go ahead.
Go ahead. The president was there 2 days
Go ahead,
prior.
Stephen. I'm calling on your colleague right now. Go ahead.
Thank you. To follow up on my colleague, is there anything that you can say with regard to this text message and what the president's son was alleging? Was the president there or not?
I would refer you to my colleagues at the White House Counsel. They have addressed this, and I refer you to them. Go ahead.
Karine, have you spoken to the president about this? Have you asked him whether he was there with his son on July 30th?
This is not a conversation that I've had with the president. Again, I would refer you to the White House
Do
Counsel.
you plan to have that conversation with the president?
No.
Did the president speak with the attorney general at all
I
last
can't.
night?
What a pathetic and dishonest cop-out. I'm not going to make any comment relating to the president's son. We're talking about the president's son, it's irrelevant, yada yada yada. The same tired excuse, the same tired deflection every single time. We're not talking about the president here, we're talking about the president's son. That is total nonsense. It's been nonsense from the start. This entire thing revolving around Hunter honestly has nothing to do with Hunter. Nobody cares about crackhead Hunter. It has everything to do with the president's involvement, which he has stated multiple times on multiple occasions that he is not involved, he is unaware that his son has done nothing wrong, and he has lied about all of it. His son clearly has done many things wrong, yet he seemingly just gets away with it because he has rich, politically connected Biden privilege. But clearly Democrats are using this Hunter Biden cop-out as a way to protect Joe Biden. Joe Biden, answer the damn questions, because this has something to do with Joe and not Hunter. But of course, they're never gonna do that. John Kirby took a crack at it.
That you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father, unquote. So just a couple of questions about this. First, does this not undermine the president's claim during the 2020 campaign and the reaffirmations of that claim by his two press secretaries since then, that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with him?
No, and I'm not going to comment further on this.
We're good.
I'm not. James, let me save you some. Let me save you some breath. If you're going to ask about this, I am not addressing. I know you do more than I'd like you to have. I am not going to address this issue from this podium. I'm just not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do
Where
it.
was the president on the day of that message?
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
The father's house.
He simply responded with no. Well, there you have it, folks. The greatest legal argument mounted of all time. Did Joe Biden lie about his involvement? We have text message that he's literally involved. No. Oh, well, that pretty much wraps it up, folks. Look the other way. Did you guys hear about the Ocean Gate Titanic submersible imploding in itself disaster? It's a real big viral story. Just look at that and definitely don't look here. You know, there's a reason I never covered that damn story, because first of all, I'm not gonna grind views off a tragic event with multiple people losing their lives, or off the general curiosity of the public, keeping the audience on their heels as to maybe there's a chance that these people made it through, this grimy, despicable mainstream media view farming, and secondly, because there's actual important things happening, like, you know, the current president of the United States and his family involved in criminal bribery schemes, acting like frickin' mafiosos, almost like a demand of protection money racket, strong-arming millions of dollars from foreign nationals, using positions in the federal government as their weapon. Holy moly. I've never seen anything like it, such incredible abuse of power. It's provable at this point. Joe Biden should be impeached. He should be investigated. Call me crazy, but I feel like there's enough evidence to indict the guy, to actually indict the guy and charge him on multiple felonies. But of course, that's never gonna happen. The media's not gonna cover it. The White House is gonna run away, and we're gonna continue talking about Donald Trump's supposed crime of keeping his own documents. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and excuse if I'm getting frustrated and it's hard to listen to because I'm animated, passionate, and angry, but the president of the United States is a criminal, and we have WhatsApp text message proof, we have email proof, we have multiple whistleblowers pointing the finger at Joe Biden as being guilty. The former White House stenographer, Tony Bobolinsky, now apparently Devin Archer, is being subpoenaed. GOP House committees have their hands on bank transfers and bank records, witness testimony, and FBI document. Once again, has a witness pointing the finger directly at the Bidens as being involved in a criminal scheme. How much more do you need? The president of the United States is compromised, he is a criminal, and so I don't want to hear about a frickin' tourist Titanic submersible experience that went wrong. I don't want to hear about a Trump indictment over keeping his own documents, or on a bogus zero evidence accusation from E. Jean Carroll, or on a Georgia phone call, which Donald Trump did nothing illegal, or on inciting an insurrection, which literally the latest freaking tweet on Donald Trump's Twitter account instantly exonerates him. It's all a distraction. The Biden crime family should be the only focus, and clearly there is a massive effort to protect them from accountability. It must stop, and people need to pay attention and know these things. Anyways, I'm gonna take a breather. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know we'd love to have you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.